Hello and welcome to our workshop, Building Solid Relationships. We're happy to provide these essential leadership concepts that every good leader must understand and practice to build relationships that will enhance and prosper their careers. We wish you success and hope you remember these essential principles in your journey to leadership success by applying the first and most important foundation, the building of solid relationships. The topics for today. We will begin by defining the resonant leader and how leaders are mentoring from the beginning of their careers. We will examine the core capabilities of emotional intelligence and how they influence the competencies that a leader must adopt. We will talk about mentoring leaders and what coaching leadership style means. And finally, we will describe the powerful quality tools needed to achieve a sustainable quality improvement that will help us all establish solid relationships. In 2001, Dr. Daniel Goleman described in his book Primal Leadership the critical relationship between emotional intelligence and leadership. He suggested that we must first focus on how we lead ourselves. His research on the brain revealed to him the neurological mechanisms that describe why emotional intelligence abilities are so crucial to be considered. The leader's behavior and manner rely not on the leader's achievements alone, but on how he achieves them, mainly on how his limbic system functions. The open-loop nature of the limbic system, a system that is also known as our emotional center. The open-loop system depends on external feedback to manage itself. It needs to be connected to other people to maintain emotional stability, a crucial element of our emotional system that affects our entire mindset. Scientists describe this system as the interpersonal limbic regulation, whereby one person transmits signals that can alter hormone levels, cardiovascular functions, sleep rhythms, and even the immune functions inside the body of another. Just like oxytocin, which creates a pleasant affirmative feeling in a couple's relationship. The fact is that performance can soar if people's emotions are pushed towards ending enthusiasm and may end in safety mistakes if they are pushed towards anxiety. So when leaders drive emotions positively, they will bring out everyone's best. Dr. Goleman called this effect resonance. This is the foundation of his magnificent work called leadership. In conclusion, emotional resonance is the ability of emotions to connect with and influence the emotions of others. When people feel good, however, they work well, performing their best. Being in a good mood helps them communicate better, affecting their judgment to make sound decisions, and their performance shine, making their team also shine. When companies call coaches or mentors to assist their leaders, they often find how the leaders adapted their strengths early in their careers. Their new hires begin their adaptation typically under the guardianship of a mentor assigned by their corporate management and approved by the Center of Creative Leadership based in North Carolina. A lot of corporations practice recruitment in universities to select the best students about to graduate. Therefore, these executives must select a well-prepared professional leader to mentor the new student to be hired. This type of ideal leader is often unavailable. In conclusion, selecting the right mentor with a suitable IQ and a practitioner of emotional intelligence competencies is essential to correctly guide and shape the new employee into the expected leadership style they will practice from that time on. In organizational theory literature, supervision is defined as directing or guiding people to accomplish their organizational goals. Supervision requires good communication of job requirements, counseling, and coaching for improved performance. Because supervision is established on essential facts, the person who supervises others must be a good communicator, a good listener, and a trusted individual who inspires and is respected by all. For these attributes, Dr. Goleman proposed that 4 abilities and 5 emotional intelligence competencies were ideal for the next generation of leaders' empowerment. Emotional intelligence affects your performance at work, your physical and mental health, and influence on your relationships. So here they are. We'll begin with self-awareness, which is the ability to recognize your emotions and how they affect your thoughts and behavior, recognize your strengths and weakness, and have self-confidence. Self-management, the ability to regulate or control impulsive feelings, manage your emotions' health, take the initiative, follow through on commitments, and adapt to changing circumstances. Social awareness, the ability to recognize and understand other people's emotions, needs, and concerns, pick up on emotional cues, feel comfortable socially, and recognize the power dynamics in a group or an organization. Relationship management, the ability to regulate, develop, and maintain good relationships, communicate clearly, inspire and influence others, work well in a team, and of course, manage conflict. The 4 core emotional intelligence abilities provide leaders with 5 available competencies. These competencies are divided into 3 intrapersonal competencies, which are invisible to others, and 2 interpersonal competencies, which require others to get involved and are somewhat visible. The 3 intrapersonal competencies are emotional self-awareness. This is the capacity for introspection and the ability to reconcile oneself as an individual separate from the environment and others. Emotional self-regulation, the ability to control one's emotions, behaviors, and desires to obtain some reward later. In psychology, it is sometimes called self-regulation. And the emotional self-motivation. Motivation is the driving force by which humans achieve their goals. The 2 interpersonal competencies are empathy, which is the capacity to recognize and, to some extent, share feelings experienced by other persons. Social skills. Social skills facilitate interaction and communication with others. Mentors provide guidance, support, and advice to their mentees, often drawing on their own experiences and sharing stories of overcoming challenges in their careers. Mentoring relationships tend to be longer term and more personal than coaching relationships. Here we're going to visit some essential principles for mentors to follow. Mentors are expected to build trusting relationships with their mentees. That is the foundation of a good mentor-mentee relationship and must be done with care and transparency. They are expected to support the developmental needs of the mentees. This is crucial during the leader's advancement, so be available for them to correct and guide them as much as possible. Mentors must develop the performance competence of the mentees. Therefore, after assessing the mentees' strengths and weakness, help them build their key performance indicators that accurately indicate their progress. Mentors are expected to integrate the mentees into the organization and its culture, so advise them on resolving disagreements with their group or team members and teach them how to support the group's primary goal and vision. They should provide the mentees with an environment conducive to change. Therefore, prepare them to manage their critical thinking during unexpected crises. The mentor is also responsible for encouraging the socialization of the men within a group. Advise them that politics is sometimes necessary, but not required. They must leave a good impression on their peers and managers. The mentor must always reward the men's achievements to build their self-confidence during their progress. Do not micromanage them. Empower them to decide and build good relations with emotional intelligence in mind. It is essential to identify potential leaders within your company. This can be done through a variety of approaches, including performance reviews, feedbacks from colleges, and observations of leadership potentials. Once potential leaders have been identified, they can be paired with mentors to provide guidance and support and to share their experiences. Remember, a mentor is the first impression of your company, so you must select the pace-setting leader they expect to follow. Coaching leadership style. We will define 6 basic leadership styles. Each requires a different emotional competency and will impact organizations differently. The cohesive style. This approach is beneficial in stressful situations when a plan should be executed as planned. This leadership style is often recommended for use in crisis or with problem employees the leader does not trust. This type of leadership takes away employee autonomy over their job. Thus, the wrong circumstances can reduce employees' motivation and sense of ownership, responsibility, and accountability for the work outcome. The authoritative style. This approach states the overall goal while enabling the people to choose their means of achieving it. This leadership style often requires the team to be highly competent in doing the work and the leadership, allowing them to have the best understanding of the outcome. This style would not be as effective when the leader is not as experienced as the team is, or when the team has high-level expertise in defining the outcome that the leader does not have. The affiliated style. This style is the most effective when building team harmony or increasing morale. The focus of this leadership style is on praise. Thus, when the team is not performing well, it can validate those negative behaviors and performance. The democratic style. This style gives individuals in the organization a voice in decisions. This leadership style builds organizational flexibility and responsibility, generating innovative and fresh ideas when appropriate. The price of that, however, is often endless meetings with confused employees who feel leaderless and seek a clear vision and a strategy to operate. The pace-setting style. This style is usually shown by leaders who set high performer standards and examples themselves how to perform the work to reach those standards. The impact of such a style is generally very positive, as the employee perceives their leader to be self-motivated and highly competent. However, when overused, this leadership style can also overwhelm employees who recognize a higher gap between their own performance and the leadership performance. Furthermore, this style requires the leader to be consistently present with the employees, which can lead the employees to resent the leader for taking over and not giving them the autonomy to do their work their way. The coaching style. This approach is when a leader focuses on the personal development of their people rather than the immediate work to be done. When employees have the proper autonomy and competencies to perform their jobs and are interested in developing themselves to deliver better results, this leadership style creates a positive relationship between the leader and the employee. This style is usually not recommended for junior or problem employees who would benefit more from the pace-setting or coercive styles until they reach a minimum level of competency and autonomy in their work. The effective use of any of these leadership styles must be done by applying the following principles. Integrity. In their nature, coaching conversations require a closer relationship than other leadership styles. People often bring personal and private matters to coaching conversations, such as financial, relationship, or health problems. These sensitive matters must be handled with tact, care, and professionalism to create a safe place for the employee to explore. Know the person. Professional coaches can have coaching conversations with individuals they do not yet have a close relationship with. However, in coaching conversations between a leader and an employee, it is a requirement for the leader to know the person they are coaching, their role, and references to ensure that they understand the context of the individual and can suggest an opportunity for improvement that is aligned with the employee aspiration. Asking questions. Coaching conversations require the lead to let go of giving instructions, advice, or solutions to the raised problems. For the employee to think for themselves and develop possible solutions to their problems, the lead should practice asking coaching questions. For example, open questions that start with "What?" Feedback. Coaching conversations also require additional support beyond the conversation itself. For coaching to be effective, the leader should be able to give and receive concrete and constructive feedback, provide enough time for reflection, and follow up with the employee to ensure the feedback is understood. Structure. Coaching conversations require a structure to ensure the leader is not getting carried away in the conversation, thus investing long hours with no apparent results or outcomes. Objectives and expectations must be discussed continuously so everyone knows their role, the time box, and the expected outcome. Furthermore, using concrete structure, framework, and markers will enable the leader to measure how well they are doing and how employees are improving. A coaching leader must not be confused with a coach. A leader who leads with a coaching leadership style can have coaching-like conversations with their employee with a clear intention to develop and improve their employees' performance, qualities, and competencies to perform better in their roles in the organizations. The conversation must be done with compassion, self-awareness, collaboration, and encouragement. In comparison to a coach, the coaching leader should have a vision for the employee and will often have to combine their coaching with consulting or mentoring. A good coaching leader has his employees perform their work independently, but it still makes them feel supported and involved in their work. Sustainable quality improvement. In his book, Primal Leadership, Dr. Goleman suggests that actions of the leader account for up to 70% of employees' perception of the quality climate of their organizations. Emotional intelligence is a key element of self-awareness and the ability to self-regulate. The leader personifies this capacity. This is the embodiment of self-integration. The personal emotional intelligence growth awakened many leaders to the leverage potential of harnessing three powerful quality improvement truths: reflection fuels, people matter, and relationships make the difference. Hughes McLeod describes these quality improvements in his book Humanizing Leadership as candid, concise, and skillfully deliver leadership style, and they have been selected as our final topic today. Reflection fuels. Leaders operate within a web of people relationship systems, and the health and power of these relationships depend on the level of trust they carry within. Leaders cannot expect to harness the inspirational and creative human energy of organizations and relationships within them if they fail to fully understand the impact of their behavior on those who bring quality, visions, and goals to fruition. Reflecting on this is when the leader lacks confidence, the followers, and quality commitment fails. People matter. Too often, a people matter concept value statement is limited to printed words. It is not enough to merely recognize people's roles and significance within their organizations. There must be a commitment to alter organizational people matter mindsets. Employees who are engaged are more open to innovative ideas and new tools. They are open to creating and inspiring new ways to enhance their work rather than just performing the bare minimum required. Relationships make the difference. Emotional intelligence helps to create the glue that holds the fabric of a human health system together, and the overall people relationship welfare of your organization determine the elasticity, bond, and effectiveness of the quality glue. We know that a structure follows a strategy and functions follows form, but relationships run the show. Without relationships, there is no quality strategy implementation or quality functions. What goes on between people defines an organization's quality and, more importantly, what it can become. Organizational spaces comprised of people and relationships are where critical quality hands-off between functions happen and where an organization has the most significant potential for quality improvement. It can also be a space of misinformation, misunderstanding, and missing opportunities. One must cautiously exercise their leadership style to create good harmonic relationships, a place of resonance, empathy, and success. This concludes our workshop on building solid relationships. We welcome your feedback. Remember, we are here for you 24/7 to answer your questions on this or other workshops given by LED Coaching. Thank you for your attendance, and we hope you become the best leader you can be by establishing solid relationships starting today. Until next time, this is Rick Pineda saying goodbye, and please be safe.